Okay, reads, there are at least 3 scenarios you're gonna face. There are real-time queries. They happen a lot of them at the same time, and you want them to be fast. Then you have long-running queries. This is the kind of queries that can take several seconds or minutes. They are pretty memory-intensive operations because they are scanning a lot of data. And then we have like the very, very long-running queries. These are queries that can take hours or even days. For instance, a data migration, even when it's a write operation as well, a data migration has to process a lot of data. And in these cases, you usually want specific strategy and you have specific compute resources to tackle these requests. To tackle some of these scenarios, you usually introduce a load balancer into your architecture. So you have your ClickHouse cluster, your system, your backend, your application, whatever. And you have a load balancer that handles connections to the cluster and can do some basic routing, okay? So whenever you have a new request, it can be routed to a different replica each time. So the load is balanced in that way, okay? When you face high concurrency scenario, if you need, you can add more replicas to the cluster and continue using them to support the load, okay? For low latency scenarios, when the cluster can cope with the load, what you can do is have beefier machines. Usually latency is linear with the compute resources, so you can assign more threads to each query and they will be usually faster. There are other strategies we already mentioned. There is sharding. This is a more complicated way to solve this problem, but another way is using parallel replicas, which is a feature of ClickHouse in which you can route a query to a specific replica and this is going to delegate to the rest of replicas or a subset of them to complete the request. One important thing to mention is you usually need more than just a load balancer because your backend, your application, your system has to know about the cluster health. Because it's not just that the router does everything, but your backend in some occasions need to hint the requests so the load balancer knows what to do with them. So whenever you have, for instance, long-running queries, you may want to mark them so the load balancer knows that they have to go to a very specific replica, okay? This is a good strategy when you have long-running queries that you want to run on specific compute resources. And it's a simple way to achieve compute separation. So you might have your real-time queries running, for instance, in these 2 replicas. And if you want to do like a backfill or a data migration that is going to take 30 hours because it's going to rewrite your complete data layout, then you can use specific resources with other strategies we will see in these videos, okay?